We live.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
We want to give all praise to Yahweh,
Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Ruach Kodash.
Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect brethren out there pushing the word in sincerity and truth, listening lives and their freedom to do so. Of course, to those men, we all say shalom, wa barakim, al peace and blessings upon you and your household, okay, your loved ones, okay. And the topic that we wanted to go in tonight was basically second Great Depression is coming, okay, and it's evident. Okay, the collapse of the United States currency, the global economy is going to collapse, in our lifetimes, man. And what a lot of our people fail to realize is that they're not prepared, and they, hey, you know, they're gonna get trampled in these last days, okay? Because we are living in last days. They're gonna get trampled, loving the U.S. dollar when it's gonna collapse on them, man. Now we just wanted to, you got that information?
Yeah.
Because we just wanted to get a little information of what happened during the Great Depression, in order to find out what's going to happen in this future currency. Oh yeah, not currency. In this future event, okay, the second Great Depression. Yeah, go ahead.
And Salah. Now I was just gonna say it. This depression is not only gonna be a depression, but it's also gonna be a detriment. It's gonna be a full collapse of the U.S. or American economy. Okay. Because the events that are happening are leading to this final, blast off, or the final detriment of the U.S. currency. Okay, because essentially the Federal Reserve note is owned by bankers that aren't in America, so they can give a fuck less about this place, man. So you see it throughout the events, and just let the brother bring out the information.
Actually, before you bring out that information, I want you to tell the argument, the story, what you was telling us, man, because this is some important information, man.
Yeah, basically, I was on the job and having a bit of a conversation with a Jake, and basically we were talking about economics, and he was basically saying how because he's from Sierra Leone, so he's basically saying when he goes outside of the U.S., that's when you really see how strong the dollar is. But I was telling him, although that may be the case, although the dollar may seem strong in third world countries, that doesn't defeat the purpose that the dollar is still collapsing. But Jake just has so much trust and faith in America that they can't understand that concept. But you mind if I start off with a scripture?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Con. Yeah, so basically this is biblical. It's biblical prophecy that the economy is gonna crash. So this is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that laden himself with thick clay. All right. And now when you look up that word thick clay in the blue letter, real quick. Salaki. It says, Salaki. The word for thick clay, I'm gonna just play it because I can't pronounce this.
Strong's H5671. Avteet.
Okay, the word is avteet. It says way of pledges, heavy debts. So that's what America is laden in itself with, heavy debts. Why? Because of all of the money that is borrowing from these other countries. All right. All of the interest upon interest, the dividends, the derivatives. All right, which is basically interest on interest. That's accumulating into the national debt. All right, and the scriptures say, I'm gonna just read it one more time. Verse 6, it says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that laden himself with thick clay.
Yeah, and the way you would say that in the Lashua and Kadash, because that was the Yiddish, the way you would say it in Lashua and Kadash is Abatya, which means heavy debt.
Now, because I was gonna say that America's assets doesn't match up to how much money they need to pay back, because essentially there's not a lot of things that are made in America. There's not a lot of things that are produced here. The main thing that America really functions off is steel, and their last resort is the petrodollar, So it's not many things that America has to keep their economy going. That's why they had, like you said, like we said earlier, they have to keep raising that debt ceiling because they don't have enough money to pay that back.
Right.
But what we know that's going to be to the detriment of the economy. Okay, and I remember you told me a long time ago that if they said something on the news 3 days later, it would what's it called?
Oh,
3 days later, it would declare martial law.
Yeah, they would. No. They were saying how basically an economic collapse. They'll tell the people that the banks will stop functioning on a Friday. They'll tell the people that everything will be okay. Come back Monday.
Yeah.
But by the time Monday come, you know the economy is gonna collapse. So it'll be too late for people to pull out their money out of the banks. You know?
That's how quick it happened.
And that's how quick it can happen.
Yeah, and we know that the economy collapse is gonna lead to martial law.
Yep.
You know, it's just it's a process.
Especially with the racial tension going on.
Yeah,
and
man.
It all ties in, you know, prophecy wise. It all ties in beautifully, man.
Because if you see that in the movie, if brothers haven't seen it, it's called American Blackout, which essentially it's just the power going off. But you could put that in the sense of America runs off certain necessities such as money, power, food.
Right.
You know, like electricity, water.
Yeah.
If you take one of those, what's it called? Assets away, the American people, they don't know how to function by themselves, man. They don't know where to go to get clean water.
Right.
You know, there ain't no clean water. You can't go to the river up here and purify the water, you know. And as far as, you know, Dominion Energy, they run everything, man. You know? And the money, that's not in their hands at all. Food, they don't know how to, Jake don't have a garden, you know?
And these are things that could all literally happen in the matter of moments. That's why the scriptures say, you know, essentially Yahushua says that we need to be vigilant and watch. You know, because if you don't watch, then those things come upon you as a thief. You know, and you thinking you trusting in your money, you trusting in the American dollar, it's gonna get you killed, man. You know, what you gonna do when that dollar isn't worth anything? You know, and it's
You got a little bit more?
no, that was basically it.
Okay. Now hold that precept. Now read that, Isaiah 14 and 4.
It's Isaiah chapter 14, verse 4. And it says that thou shalt take up his proverb against the king of Babylon and say, have the oppressors ceased, the golden city ceased.
Now the golden city
Oh,
in Isaiah
man.
the 14th chapter is talking about America. The scriptures asking how has the golden city, because you got to remember these nations before, you know, when America was living in its glory days, they thought the streets of America was paved in gold, man.
Yeah.
Just like I believe that's what the dude said when he was telling the story.
Yeah.
You know, you know, people thought the streets of America was paved in gold. So how has America gone to that estate to this estate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Read that one more time.
This is Isaiah 14, verse 4. And it says, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, have the oppressors ceased, the golden city ceased.
So how has the oppressor ceased? How has the golden city ceased? Now read that one more time.
Yeah, this is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long, and to him that laden himself with thick clay.
That's how the king of Babylon ceased, the oppressor ceased. That's how the golden city ceased. It laden itself with thick clay.
Yeah.
We looked up the Hebrew word for that as abatya, which means what? Heavy debt. You know?
Yeah, that thick clay is those loans.
Yep.
You know, basically money that's not his. That's
Yeah.
what the scriptures say, man. How long is he going to increase himself with something that's not his? You know?
Yeah, you know what's so wicked about it? That's why the world needs to abide by how the Lord set it out to be, man. Because if we were according to how the Lord set everything up, that debt would be forgiven. You know, you wouldn't have to keep raising that debt ceiling.
Right.
But also, you know, if I could bring this precept out, there's Revelations chapter 18. I start at verse 9 or verse 8. It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, famine, just like how I stated before.
Right.
You know, you're gonna have death. Not only are you gonna have death, you're gonna have people mourning for the downfall of America.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't see that America is really just like people are seriously blind.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why you have to also thank the Heavenly Father for giving you the eyes to see, man. You know, because how is it that you have a $21 trillion debt?
Yeah. and you think you could recover from that.
Right.
That's not like you said, they're blind. That's not a regular legally blind. That's a disturbing blind. 'Cause you
Con.
have eyes, you can't see
Yeah.
that America can't possibly it's not possible to pay back $20 trillion.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
21.
Okay, I
21
gotta,
going on 21 trillion.
I gotta
You know?
see that, man. Cause
And-
so like, no, you got it.
Now I was just basically gonna say it's because America paints that illusion
Yeah,
to the American people through the mass media such as Fox News, NBC, ABC, that everything is all fine and dandy and people just eat it up and they believe it.
Right.
But guess what? Back during the Great Depression, back in
1929.
yeah, 1929, before the stock market crashed, the stock market was at its highest point.
Yeah.
Was at its highest peak before things went downhill. The people were living lavishly, man. The economy was boosting,
Booming.
was booming. You know, people had good jobs, nice houses. But then what? And literally one day, in a blink of an eye,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? In an inkling of a moment, you know, everything went downhill. And people lost everything. You know, and that's the same thing that's gonna happen on these times. So although it may seem better, although things may seem like they're going good, it's just a build up for a big fall.
That's right.
You know, the bigger you are, the harder you fall.
Yup.
You know?
As the saying goes. I read that information. You want to bring out the scripture?
Oh yeah, I was still. If you
Yeah,
don't mind.
finish that and then we're gonna bring that up.
Because this could keep going, you know, as we go. But it says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day. And essentially that one day is not talking about literally in one day. You know, it's parabolic. It's one day actually, and it's one day as far as the time frame, you know, as in the Father, you know? Because if I'm not mistaken, that one day is that 1,000-year period, you know? We're still in that same one day, you know, because since we're in captivity. But it says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, which of course we know that's how America's going to go out. Okay, it says, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. The kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when she shall see the smoke of her, when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, the great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. You know, and there's more, but we'll go into it afterward.
And that's essentially what it's going to lead to.
Con.
You know?
Yeah, America getting burnt by thermonuclear missiles in the midst of this Third World War.
Yeah, con. Because if I could say this like
Yeah.
these countries they don't fuck with America, man. Nobody fucks with America. Nobody likes America, man. And especially that debt is causing more enmity with these nations toward them, man. You know?
You just had recently a Turkey dumping the U.S. currency.
Yeah,
You know?
so like
Now that was according to prophecy, because
Kind.
now they are siding along with Russia and Iran
Kind.
as well as China. You know, fulfilling Ezekiel the 38th chapter.
Kind.
So these nations is dumping the dollar, man.
Con. And also you seen what's it called? These other I think it was Turkey where they were blowing their nose with the American dollar.
Yeah, they blowing their nose.
Spitting on the American dollar, burning it on fire, you know? And it's showing the tension that's between these nations. You know?
Yeah, so this is just basic information. There's information on the Great Depression on Wikipedia. It says,
Yeah, because the second Great Depression is coming. So in order to find out what, you know, the future Great Depression is going to be like, we got to go in the past to see what that Great Depression was like. Okay?
there's nothing new under the sun.
Yep, that's right.
It says the Great Depression began in August 1929 when the United States economy first went into an economic recession. Although the country spent 2 months with disciplining with declining GDP, it was not until the Wall Street crash in October 1929 that the effects of the declining economy were felt.
Now, it said, it wasn't until the effects of Wall Street. Now, what's going on in Wall Street? Wall Street is basically the world's trade, you know, the stocks and things like that. Now, you had that situation going on in the ancient world. Okay, it was known as Miktesh.
Yeah.
Okay, which was a valley not located too far along Jerusalem. Okay, and this is what the scriptures had to say about Miktesh, because like I mentioned before, what's it say? Wall Street.
Yeah,
It was
Wall
different.
Street
It was different different trades going along in Wall Street. it was a lot of trade going on in Miktesh, where they was trading things. They was trading things such as incense, gold, silver, things in that manner. And actually, incense back in the ancient world was as the price of gold. Okay, but this is what the scriptures had to say about Miktesh, which in Zephaniah the first chapter, it says, "How ye inhabitants of Miktesh, for all your merchant people." Just like in America, the merchant people is on Wall Street. Okay, you had merchant people of Miktesh. It says, "How ye inhabitants of Miktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off." And it's talking about their money supply. Now, Zephaniah, the first chapter is future. First chapter 11 on down is talking about future prophecy. So modern day Miktesh is Wall Street, and it's going to crash again. Okay.
Yep. It says, I'm gonna read that sentence again. It says, although the country spent 2 months with declining GDP, it was not until Wall Street crashed in October 1929 that the effects of a declining economy were felt, and a major worldwide economic downturn ensued. The market crash marked the beginning of a decade of high unemployment, poverty, low profits, deflation, plunging farms income, and lost opportunities for economic growth as well as personal advancement. Although there was a general loss of confidence in the economic future.
And this Great Depression that's coming is going to be worse than the first, man. It's going to be worse than the first, because then you got what's going on right now, the terrorism. Okay, America's going to be vulnerable to more terrorist attacks. Okay, so this Great Depression is going to be way worse, man. You're going to have a lot more people starving. Okay, you're going to have a lot more people starving. Now, can you get no? I'll keep reading, Shalaki. This is Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 12, and it says, "It shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles, and punish the men that are settled on their lees." Can you look up that word lees in Zephaniah 1 and 12? And it says, "And I will punish the men that are settled on their lees, that say in their heart, the Lord will not do good, neither will he do evil." Basically, he's going to punish our people that's living in comfort, saying that the Lord's not going to do good, neither will he do evil. Okay, and that's what a lot of our people fail to realize. Okay, they're too busy living in the illusion. They're comfortable with the illusion that America portrays them. You know, you got something? You got that word lease? Oh, okay.
You want me to read more on this?
Yeah. Just that.
Just the second paragraph?
Yeah, the second paragraph. Zephaniah 1 and 12.
So continuing on, it says, the usual explanations include numerous factors, especially high consumer debt, irregulated markets that permitted over-optimistic loans by banks and investors, and the lack of high-growth new industries, all interacting to create a downward economic spiral of reduced spending, falling confidence, and lower production.
Yeah, and that was just a little bit to information on the Great Depression. You can read more about it on the Wikipedia.com. Okay. Now, I wonder, you got the word lease?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go.
If I'm not I gotta look it up in the Hebrew, but I'm gonna look it up in a minute. But the word it literally says I believe it's shamar, if I'm not mistaken, and it says lees dregs, and it says something preserved, the settlings. Okay, it says of wine dregs, wine on the lees or dregs.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the Most High is going to punish the men that are settled on their lees, meaning what? You know, punish the men that's living in their comfort, that's settled. Okay, that's settled, that living in that's comfort. You know, when it, for example, when a pond is settled, it becomes stagnant. Okay, the Lord is going to punish the men that's in that mindset. To where they settled in their mind that this is it for them. You know, living in that false illusion of comfort, like the American economy can never collapse again.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, because it says something preserved.
Yeah, something preserved.
So you know, you have men that's been saving up since way back when,
right.
And you know they believe that they're gonna be able to just live.
Like Shalaki, you got a lot of people investing in their 401ks and shit. You know. all that shit going. Hey, you can say goodbye to that shit, man.
Con.
That shit when the second Great Depression comes, okay, that's gonna be worse than the first. All that's gonna be gone, man.
Yeah, kind of, because you could also see that the depression is coming by how people are spending their money.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
because there's not a lot. That's why there's a lot of automotive companies going out of business, because people can't afford cars, people can't afford an apartment. You know, people have to work 2-3 jobs, practically slave themselves.
Just to make a living.
Yeah, just to provide necessity.
Yeah, just
you know,
the basic needs.
because back then it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Back then, if you had one job that could
Exactly.
practically pay for everything you need, a job, your car, your health insurance, food, rent, and even help your man's out.
Yeah.
But now it's like you have to have 2 or 3 jobs to get one of those.
Another job that's going out of business like that is farming.
Con.
We used to make a living off of farming, but now the way things are set up, the farmers don't make as much money as they do now.
Con.
Because a lot of the things are genetically modified.
Yeah.
Another thing, you mentioned the car situation, because
Mhm.
everybody's not buying like they used to when America was glorified, so to say. A lot of the cars on the lot, they gonna rot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Now, another thing I was gonna mention is too, either Jake has to have 2 jobs, or Jake gotta work like 50 hours overtime.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Just to make ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Jake used to just work a regular 40-hour week and be able to pay his bills. You know what I'm saying? But now that things are shifting downward even more, Jake got basically has to do more just to make ends meet.
Yep.
You know?
Yep, that's the uncovering of the skirt.
Yeah.
Babylon is becoming naked.
Yep.
Everything is being fulfilled for what it truly is. And of course, we know that America, at the end all be all of America is that it's going to be destroyed. But there's leading events that's going to take us there.
Well,
You
gotta remember, America's modern day Egypt. Egypt had plagues before the Most High sent the destroyer, the death angel. It had 9 other plagues.
Yeah.
This is one of the plagues of America. It going through an economic collapse because
Yeah.
it thought in its mind that it could function with it being in $21 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
So the Most High has to bring that plague, for the economy to collapse.
Kind.
And then it's going to lead up to it being destroyed by thermonuclear fire.
Right. And you know what? That's exactly why they're telling people to buy more.
Yeah.
To keep the money circulating in America. Just like after the Great Depression, what they told people is go out there and buy.
Right.
But that shit is not gonna help anything. How are they gonna buy with no money, man? You got let's put it into play, man. You got rent, $1,500. Jake only makes $7 an hour.
Yeah.
So the most you're gonna get from 40 hours a week is probably like a $300 check. $300 is not matching up closely to what $1,500 is, man. Even 1-bedroom apartments, even studios. Studios is like $1,000. Depending on where you live. And even in South Carolina, some places in South Carolina and North Carolina, you may have rent that's like $500, but there's no jobs out there. So that's why it costs that much. So it's no matter how you flip it, no matter how you put it, America's economy is on that lead in that way of destruction, man.
It's literally skating on thin ice.
Con.
It's to the point that this economy could collapse any day now.
Con. Brother say it's one hot breath away from falling.
Yeah. I'm gonna finish this out. I'm gonna jump down in scripture. This is Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 18. I start at 17. It says, I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. It says, verse 18, neither their gold nor their silver shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, and he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Okay, and you gotta remember, once upon a time, the American dollar was backed by silver and gold, and it says that currency is not going to be able to deliver you in the day of the Lord's wrath, man.
Yep.
It's not.
If I could bring this out too, this is Revelations chapter 18 verse 11. It says, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stone and pearls and fine linen and purple, and silk, and scarlet, and all fine wood, and all manners of vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of precious wood, and of brass, and of iron, and of marble, and of cinnamon, and of odors, and of ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oils, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men.
Yeah, souls of men. You know what that's going into, the souls of men? That's sex trafficking.
Con.
You know, because that was a list of all the things that the heathen nations made money off of America.
Con.
You know, they mentioned the thine wood, the beast, the souls of men. Okay, yeah, and once America is destroyed, all those nations. That's why they're gonna lament over the smoke of her burning, because
Con.
they know that they're not gonna be able to make money off of America no more.
Yeah, because what the nations do is that they send their assets over here,
Yeah.
and they allow the Americans to
Exactly.
basically buy it.
Right.
You know, and that's how they make their money, because that money gets shipped back over
And
there.
they get shipped
Made
back over
it,
there.
or they sell their product in a bulk and get their money, probably profit off of it, like let's say they sell something for 100,000, they probably profit like another 100,000, and then let America sell it. You know,
Right.
because all right, let's take for an example, Jordans is only about $23 made. You know. But when it comes over here, after all that, after it being shipped over here,
Yeah.
it changes to what?
It's like a fucking buy Jordan $300.
$300.
Yeah.
You know, even
Not only that, it's also the faith of the people which keeps the dollar going as well.
Con.
Because like you said, if a lot of people, if the demand for Jordans weren't so high, they will be forced to sell it for a lower price.
Con.
You know what I'm saying? They'll be forced to sell it for the price that it's actually worth.
Con.
You know?
Because now you even see that happening. Retros aren't selling like how they used to, man.
Yeah.
You know, back then, Jake used to line up for them, man.
Yeah.
But now it's like, you still have them staying in the stores now.
You
know?
have the release date on Saturday, and you can still see them same shoes in the store like another 2 weeks later.
Another month later.
Yeah.
Shit, the same J's that probably dropped like three months ago is still in there today. You know, so it's because the main people that really kept the American economy going is our people, man.
Yeah.
Because we're the majority here.
Main consumers.
Con.
Majority
That's
consumers.
facts. That's facts.
We're the biggest consumers. But I got a quick scripture. There's Isaiah chapter 32, verse 9. It says, "Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear to my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail. The gatherings shall not come." And that's mainly the point right there, man. It says the vintage shall fail. You know? So all those benefits, all those things that that the women of our nation trust in, all right, all of those things that basically, like I mentioned, government benefits, all of those things are gonna fail, man.
Yeah.
You know.
I believe that's the same scripture. They said they shall lament for the teats. If you keep reading.
Yeah. It says, verse 11, "Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be ye troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins." Now I don't think that's the one, bro.
Okay. But the scriptures talk about how basically the woman of the children of Israel shall lament for the teats. Now when you look up the word teats, I forgot the Hebrew word, but it means nourishment. And the way they was being nurtured by America was through the benefits, the government benefits such as Section 8, food stamps, things in that manner. Okay, so when all this, when the American economy collapses, all that's gonna be out the window.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, that food stamps,
Yeah.
that takes over the nigga woman, man. The nigga woman truly believe in their government benefits, man, and they think that shit is never gonna fail. But hey, the closer and closer you get with Donald Trump in, with Donald Trump in office, he talking about giving them care packages.
Yeah.
They getting food stamps no more, man, because you just see it, man. It's crazy because our women they really fully believe in the American economy, man. They just a lot of our people just don't see the fall of it, man. But little by little, shortly by shortly, you see this thing being taken away, that thing being taken away,
right.
You know, and soon it's just gonna lead to what we're all waiting for, man. Well, the elects of the nation of Israel,
Right.
You know. If he could bring out this precept, start at matter of fact, start at 40. Second Ezra 16 and 40.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16 verse 40, and it says, "O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle."
And that's essentially what we're doing right now. We're making ourselves ready for the battle by what? Looking at what's to come. Okay, we're seeing the prophecies being fulfilled. We're seeing the detriment and the downfall of this economy. Not only the economy, but the quality of things.
Yeah, that's
you
true
know,
too.
food is not what it used to be. Clothing is not what it used to be. You know. Just the way of living itself is not what it used to be. Even let's take for an example the air, man.
Yeah.
The air's destroyed, man. You know, you barely even see any trees out here living. You know, the animals.
The water.
Yo, animals committing suicide.
Yeah.
You seeing shit like that, man. Back then they didn't have to worry about that. You know.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about the condition of this world, because you could actually see. It's actually crazy to think about it, but you can actually see a homeless deer. Because the Edomites, these so-called white people, cut down all their trees, cut down their environments, and they don't have nowhere to go. Just like the Lord shows the people, we're homeless on the street as a whole, because we correspond with the animals. You know, it's just things like that. When you realize that this is why the economic collapse has to come. This is why the plagues of America has to come. Because the world, we're suffering. The Lord shows the people, as long as the rest of the world, the animals that the Most High created through His only begotten Son is suffering. Okay, so these things have to come.
Right.
All right.
Because you see the people becoming miserable.
Exactly.
You know, and the Lord's gonna put us all out of our misery. You know, but He's gonna keep us to everlasting life. But the rest He's gonna destroy. You know, there's more in that though. So
Good.
2nd Ezra chapter 16 verse 40. "O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle, and in those evils, even as pilgrims upon the earth."
Read it again.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16 verse 40. "O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle, and in those evils, even as pilgrims upon the earth. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupieth merchandise as that have no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein.
Keep reading.
He that soweth as if he should not reap. So also that he that planteth the vineyard as he that also shall not gather the grapes. They that marry as they shall not get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers."
And read 45 real quick, Bakasha.
And therefore they that labor in vain.
And that's the key point right there, man. He's telling you what's it called? Ezra's the spirit Ezra's to tell you that be like this, because essentially that's what it's gonna come to. You know, all the merchandise that you have is gonna fail. All the bond. It says Salat. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, because all the selling, all the buying, all of that is gonna come to naught. You know, the economy is literally standing on the last toe. You know,
and when you're as a pilgrim, you ain't got time to have attachments, man.
Yeah.
You're always on the move.
You don't have time to occupy in those things. You don't have time to get married, buy, sell. All those things take time. All those things take a process of actually doing. You know, or it takes occupying.
No, but I was just gonna say that people are deceived because it seems like things are going good right now. You know, if I could actually bring this up real quick. Yeah, because earlier in that same chapter, it says 2nd Ezra 16, verse 21, "Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they should think themselves to be in good case.
Yep.
And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion." And those are the things that's coming, man. You know, so that's why the scriptures mention that even if you do have all of those things, you're supposed to be contrary to those things. You're not supposed to put your trust in those things, because this is what it's coming to: sword, famine, and great confusion.
Man, that's so beautiful that it's a great confusion, because that's gonna tell you that all of the people that trusted in America is gonna be confounded, man.
Yep.
They're gonna be like, wait, what the? How the hell did this happen?
Right.
What you mean how it happened, man? $21 trillion in debt, like.
Yeah, and not even that, bro. You have the prophets out there telling you that it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So that's how in that time we're gonna be looking at them like they stupid.
Con.
You know?
You gotta remember, like the brother said earlier, they're disturbingly blind, man.
Con.
Yeah, I remember at camp there was one time where it was a bird standing right next to me, and there was so many people that paid attention to that bird. Then it was a Wednesday camp.
Yeah,
It was about 5 of us.
Yeah,
There was more people paying attention to that bird than the 5 hopeful elect men preaching the word. You know, they was more mindful of looking at that bird than listening to us, man.
Con.
They just walked past us like we didn't even exist.
Con.
Well, it's because the American people have the attention span of a bird. You know,
yeah.
literally.
Facts.
You know,
Bird brain.
and that's why the masses of the people are gonna die, man.
Yeah.
Trusting in this government. You know.
Read that in Ezekiel.
This is Ezekiel chapter 7. You said 14?
19.
19. This is Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 19. And it says, they that cast silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed.
Read it again from top.
This is Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 19. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed.
Yeah, it said they shall cast their silver in the streets and their gold shall be removed. Now, one of the things that was happening, 1929, the Great Depression, they was literally burning the United States currency just to keep warm. You know, that's part of them casting their silvers into the streets, man. And it's gonna happen again. You know, they're gonna burn the dollar just to keep warm if it happens in the winter. If low winter happens in sooner than we all believe. But they're gonna cast their silver and their golds in the streets. And the modern day silver and gold is the U.S. dollar. You know?
And a lot of our people are going to feel ashamed because they're going to start to really understand that the U.S. dollar is literally just a fucking piece of paper.
Yeah, just a paper, man.
Literally a note.
Yeah.
That's the word Federal Reserve note.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Kanye, there's a scripture that I was looking for that basically tells you, gets into how like basically there was a famine, and how they sold the ox head or the
hyperinflation.
ass. Yeah.
Yeah, that's in Kings.
Con. Because that's the
I think this
same.
might be it.
I believe that's the same story with where a lady she ate her son,
Yeah.
or she ate her child.
Con. Yeah, but I'm gonna just read this one again.
Go.
Yeah, there's 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 21. It says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. It says, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, and the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. So this is what's coming, man. You know, it said, and the others that escape the hunger, the sword shall destroy. So that tells you right there that there's gonna be a lot of people dying of starvation, man. There's gonna be a lot of people who are not gonna have food to eat, man. You know.
Yeah.
You gonna say something?
Because I found the precept that you were looking for.
Oh, kind of.
Yeah, this is 2 Kings chapter 6.
Yeah.
Were you about to say something, Shai?
No, I found.
Con.
Yeah.
This 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 20. I started 24. And it came to pass after this that Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, gathered all his host and went up and besieged Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it. And what that happened in Rome too, where they got besieged to where they couldn't, nobody could leave.
Got quarantine.
Yeah, quarantine. Nobody could leave and nobody can come in.
Yep.
You know.
Martial law. That's martial law right there.
Right there in the scriptures, you know.
Yep.
And it says until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver. It says, in the fourth part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. So they were selling dove feces for 5 pieces of silver, man.
It got that bad.
Con. It says, and as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, help, my lord, O king. And he said,
This is my favorite part about this precept.
Yup.
You know. Go ahead.
Khan. It says, Salaki, And he said, if the Lord do not help thee, when shall I help thee?
Yeah, he said, because she was crying to the king, said, "Oh, help me, O king." He said, if the Lord didn't help you, what makes you think possibly how can I help you? You know, you know, you gotta think about it like that. I'm gonna read that again. He said, verse 27. It says, he said, if the Lord did not help thee, when shall I help thee? He said, out of the barn floor or out of the wine press. You know, and that's what's gonna happen in these last days, man. A lot of people gonna seek help, and they're not gonna be able to find it, man.
Because they're gonna think that we're actually able to help them. You know,
But I was just gonna say that's how a lot of people are actually gonna get deceived into taking that mark of the beast. You know, because Esau is gonna be is gonna give them a clear path of what seems like to be help, but you never know, man. Even if he even if you do get that chip, he still might not even give you food. You know, because the scriptures say never trust your enemy, man. You know, so that's what's gonna happen to 2/3 of our people that don't want to hearken unto the Lord. You know, that want to mock the prophets, that want to scoff. Those are gonna be the same ones that are in the street that's hungry, man. Who stomachs are gonna be touching their backs, man. You know.
That was
Nah. Verse 28. This 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 28. It says, and the king said unto her, what availeth thee? And she answered, this woman said unto me, give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat him, Salah, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son and did eat him. And he said, and I said unto her on the next day, give thy son, that we may eat him. And she hath hid her son. And it came to pass, when the king heard the words of the woman, that he rent his clothes, and he passed by upon the walls, and the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth within upon his flesh. Then he said, God, do not so more also to me, if the head of Elisha and the son of Shaphat shall stand on him this day, Salah, this day. Well, that was basically the point, you know.
They eat their kids, man.
You had a woman, you had a woman eating. Basically, this is the curses that were prophesied in Deuteronomy 28th chapter. You know, that what's it called? We'll be besieged. Actually, you know, I just grabbed it. But that's the fulfillment of what the scriptures have said. You know, so that's how we know that coming into the time frame that we're in right now, we're gonna see the same things happen again. You know. So I believe Salah.
Yeah, basically, this is Samaria 2.0. You know, that same scenario that happened back then is gonna happen modern present day in America. You know, because the scriptures prophesied it, man.
The scriptures also say there's nothing new under the sun, man. So it's gonna happen again. You know, you got it.
Salah. Nah, not yet.
You got precept?
Nah, that's all I have.
James 5:1.
This is James chapter 5, verse 1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten.
Yeah, look up that word moth-eaten. James 5:1. Okay, but it said that the rich men weep and howl. You know, for the riches are corrupted. Okay, the U.S. dollar is definitely corrupted, man. Actually, money, true substance, true money is supposed to be backed by something. The U.S. dollar is not backed by gold nor silver, so it's corrupted. Okay, hold that. You found what you wanted?
Yep.
Go ahead.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 52. It says, and he shall besiege thee and all thy gates. And gates essentially means the openings of where you are, you know, or the border of where you are. It says until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest. And that's essentially what's gonna happen again, because the people trust in America. He's gonna besiege them in it, you know. It says throughout all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy power hath given thee, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body. And that tells you that some people, they're going to be cutting off their arms and eating it. They're going to be eating their fingers. They're going to be eating their nails down to a brim. You know?
And that's also goes into your kids.
It's going.
Yeah, part of real quick, because one of the tribes of Israel is Ephraim. The way you would say Ephraim is Aparim, which means I am fruitful. Why? Because they have kids. So your kids is also referred to as your fruit. They said that they was going to eat it.
Yeah, I remember last year there was a video that came out because there was a famine basically in Venezuela.
Man.
And you had this guy, these two guys that were in jail, and this one guy, he basically bit off his ear. He was basically like eating the guy alive. You know, so those are the same things, those are the same plagues that the scriptures is prophesying to come to America. You know? You got it, bro.
Man. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 53. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy son and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy power hath given thee, and the siege and in the straitness wherein thine enemy shall distress thee. Okay, and that's the point, you know, because throughout this, when the Lord puts that quarantine, when he puts the spirit on the heathens to quarantine our people and to subjugate us into our own cities, martial law, Jacob's trouble, aka you're gonna have people starving, man, for months at a time, for weeks at a time, and people can't go a day without, they think that's unnormal, because you have certain chemicals inside the food that makes them feel like it's a necessity for them to eat right now, because everything in America is right now. But when that mentality is gone, the people they're gonna be confounded, man. They're gonna be confused,
Really even going a day without eating and shit, because our forefathers, they went 40 days without eating. Sometimes they went a week of fasting, So basically, what we're doing isn't anything compared to what our ancestors used to do, man. And that's why basically the men of the Lord are preparing right now. That's why brothers supposed to be fasting, fasting and praying to prepare for the times that's to come ahead, man, because it's gonna be a great famine.
Finish that. Read it again from the top. We're gonna close out, man.
This is James chapter 5 verse 1, and it says, Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your ministries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Moth-eaten. Salakia. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. And shall eat your flesh as it were fire.
And this is talking about basically the corruption of the U.S. dollar, man, and it's going to fall. Okay, economic collapse, a Great Depression is coming.
Yeah. Okay? And essentially, it's saying that their form of power, their form of possession, is just going to turn back on them, man. Yeah. Because that's how the Lord works. He gave Esau, especially the wicked. If he would have dealt righteously with the things, with his possessions, the Lord wouldn't have done it. But of course, Esau, being the person who he is, whose his spirit is, he's been wicked. He's dealt treacherously with it, So it's going to be a detriment to him. It's going to come back and bite him in the ass.
Yeah, not only Esau, but 2/3 of our people as well who trust in Esau.
That's right.
Because you got 2/3 of our people who really believe in this place, man. Who are adamant and who are proud, of the things that America has done, man. Who really uplift this place in their heart. That's why the scriptures say great confusion is going to come to them. They're going to be greatly confounded, when the American dollar collapses, man.
That's right.
You got it out.
Finish up.
Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of the Sabbath. Sabbath.
Which that means Lord of Hosts, which is Yahweh Tazabah and Abariah.
Verse 5.
Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth, and had been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth.
That's right.
And have long patience for it, until he receive the early and the latter rain.
Yeah, that was it on that, man. It said that the Lord is going to punish the ones that had lived in pleasure on the earth, that have been wanton, going back into Zephaniah, punish the men that are settled on their leaves, that's living in comfort, man. They're talking about the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, as well as the heathen nation, man, that put their faith in this golden city.
That's right.
You know. So, brothers, had any last words?
Nah, that's it.
That's it.
So with that, you know, economic collapse is coming. Okay. So with that, we would like to give all praise to Yahweh.
By Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Rakal Kadash, of course.
Honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, and salutations to the elect brethren out there pushing the word in sincerity and truth. Shalom and Abba Bo.
Shalom, Abba Bo.